Good afternoon. All right, we're here for a code enforcement hearing for the city of North Miami. Today is September 25th, 2019, and I am Beatrice Kezo, Special Magistrate for the city. The purpose of this hearing is to determine if a code violation exists at your property as observed and cited by a code enforcement officer of the city. If the city is not able to prove its case, then I will dismiss the case and you may leave. These proceedings are being recorded, therefore all persons who are speaking should do so one at a time to ensure that all testimony is clearly audible on the recording device. If English is not your primary language, then please inform me when I call your case. We have a translator who will assist you during the proceedings. When your case is called, the property owner, agent for the property owner, and any witness that you may have should come forward to the podium on the left side of the room. When asked, please speak directly into the microphone and say aloud your name, your business or mailing address, and your relationship to the property. If you are not the property owner or an attorney representing the property owner, then you must present a notarized power of attorney affidavit in order for your testimony to be taken on behalf of the property owner. For new cases, you will be asked for the record if you are aware of and understand the violation that is being heard today. And do you understand what is required to resolve the violation? Please answer accordingly. The city will present its case first, then the property owner and or violator will be given an opportunity to testify on their own behalf, to bring forward witnesses to testify, to present evidence and photographs, and to cross-examine the city's witnesses. Following the case presentation, I will issue a finding of fact on the case. If I find that a violation of city codes exists or existed at your property, then depending on the case type, I will set an abatement date for the violation to be resolved. Or, for repeat violations, I will impose a daily fine amount. For new, non-repeat cases, my order will include an abatement date by which you must resolve the violation and a daily fine amount that I may impose at a future hearing date should the violation not be resolved by the abatement date. If I find sufficient cause to postpone enforcement action at this time, I will table this case proceeding to another hearing date in the future. If you do not agree with my finding of fact and or ruling, then the property owner may appeal the administrative order on the case to the circuit court. An appeal must be filed within 30 days of the date of the execution of the administrative order to be appealed. In accordance with Florida statutes, if a person decides to appeal any decision made by the special magistrate with respect to any matter considered at these proceedings, then the person will need a verbatim record of the proceeding. This record includes the testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is to be based. The cost of obtaining the verbatim record shall be the sole responsibility of the appellant, and it is recommended that persons who plan to appeal their case should provide their own court reporter at these proceedings. Pursuant to city codes, if the city of North Miami prevails in prosecuting a case before the special magistrate, the city shall be entitled to recover all costs incurred in prosecuting the case. The current cost assessment amount is $100 per case. Once the city records an order that imposes a fine and authorizes a lien against the property, then the city will charge additional administrative fees to record and release the lien. If you're present and will be given testimony on a case, please stand and raise your right hand so the officer can administer the oath.
If you're going to be speaking on a case up here, you need to stand up so I can swear you in. Raise your right hand. You got sworn in already? Just please indulge me. do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say aloud, I do.
I do.
Thank you. Please remain standing. Did we do the pledge already?
No, not yet. Not for this group.
Okay. Can we face the flag? Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Translator. You may. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the translations which you are about to give in these proceedings will be accurate and correct to the best of your knowledge, skills, and ability? Thank you.
Okay. Please announce for the record if there are any additions, deletions, and/or corrections to the hearing agenda, please.
There are no amendments to the 1:00 p.m. agenda.
All right, if we're ready, let's call the first case.
First case is Abitas Jean Pierre and Mars, case number CEFAW 2019-00180. The officer is John Dorville.
Anyone here? Is it Abdias and Marise Jean Pierre, property address 200 Northeast 121st Terrace? Guess not.
Give me 1 second, I'm just pulling it up on the system here. Good afternoon, John Dorville, City North Miami Code Compliance Office. This is in reference to the property listed at 200 Northeast 131st Terrace. Once again, restating the file number is CEFAW 2019-00180. It's in reference to a basically concrete fence that has been damaged and is in disrepair. This property was posted with the AOS, Affidavit of Service, on 9/5/19 at 11:48 a.m. Picture right here, the picture depicts, obviously, is a concrete fence on this property that needs to be both pressure cleaned. It's actually a concrete fence structure that needs to be pressure cleaned, and obviously there's some panels of this particular fence that are damaged as well. I have had no contact with the property owner. I have had contact with the property owner previously for other violations, but for this particular violation, I've had nothing. I know this particular property is being rented. This is a new case.
All right. Based on the based on the testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice, the owner has failed to appear, or owners have failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Property owners have until, what are my dates? That's November, correct?
Correct.
November 13th, by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $200.
Thank you.
The next case is Christopher Sander, case number CENUS 2019-00926. The officer is Aaron Barber.
Good afternoon, sir. Please state your full name in relationship to the property.
Good afternoon, Mickey Morero, 200 South Biscayne Boulevard, attorney for the alleged violator.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Aaron Barber, City of North Miami Code Compliance. This case is reference a nuisance noise violation. Wanted to have the case heard as a repeat violator, as this property has been ticketed in the past. Okay, 1 second. I do have copy of the incident reports, police reports, hard copies from August 5th, 2019. North Miami PD was called out to the property. Bear with me, my apologies.
Mhm.
As well as the permit action report from previous, when the citation was issued earlier, where the citation has been paid and resolved.
I'm assuming you're passing forward police report?
Yes,
Your
this-
complaints from
yes.
prior?
Yes, ma'am, that's the
Incidents?
incident report. Yes, ma'am.
Incident reports for this one or previous?
That
Incident.
is the incident report for the last time that the police were called out.
Okay.
And I have copies of the permit action reports, previous permit action reports, where the citations were issued and paid.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yes, ma'am. Again, we would like to have this viewed as a repeat violation, as there have been incidents in the past, noise incidents.
All right. I have 2 violations, correct? I have one for May of this year, and then this one that's being heard today. Is that about right?
Yes, I have another incident report from August 5th of this year as well. I believe it's the same day, separate report.
Separate
I
report?
believe so, yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me see the
Yes, ma'am.
notice of action for this one. This one is action. All right, proceed.
Okay. Yes, again, there have been numerous concerns about loud noises, parties at this location. And again, we would like to have this viewed as repeat violation.
Counselor?
Yes, good afternoon again. I haven't heard any testimony yet about what occurred on the day of the alleged violation, other than the previous violations, and that it wants to be, can I hear some testimony about that? The day of the violation was issued?
Yes, the police had been called out regarding noise incident. And in the police reports, it does show the narrative from the officers that did respond. They were called out twice on the same day.
Were you there? I'm sorry, I don't know. Were you at the scene, or was another officer there from Code?
No, sir, it was the North Miami Police Department.
And is somebody here from the North Miami Police Department that I could, and then let me explain why. My client, first of all, there has been other cases on this property for advertising for short-term rental that we're dealing with. It was an activity that was going on there before, and it is no longer going on that property. It was a tenant that had been using the property inappropriately. I spoke to my client, unfortunately wanted to be here. He's in Wisconsin for a memorial service, and could not be here today. But he was there on the day of the alleged violation. There was apparently CBD, is this marijuana oil, whatever. There was a CBD expo in the city of Miami that weekend, and 2 doors down, there was a party, Hemp and Heroes, which was not his party or in any way associated with him, going on 2 doors down. The folks throwing the party had asked him, there was an overflow of parking on their lot, if they could use his lot for some parking. As a nice neighbor, he said, sure, you can park some cars here, I don't really mind. And that was the extent of it. He agrees that there was a lot of noise in the neighborhood that day, and when they came to his house, he answered the door. He did have some friends over. He says, I was playing music out of a small Bluetooth speaker inside. The only music that he was playing was from a small Bluetooth speaker inside the house. Whereas 2 doors down, there was a very large party with parking throughout the neighborhood. And he firmly believes that the noise complaint should have gone to that property. If you look at the tickets, both say short-term rental property. It was not being short-term rental. He was there with his friends having a small dinner party, and he did have he says, a Bluetooth speaker inside the house. There was not a party going on at his house. There was a very big party going on 2 doors down. And there were cars in front of his house as overflow, as he allowed them to park there. Again, I was assuming there would be an officer here that was there at the scene, so I could, cross-examine them on this issue. But seeing that there is no one, I would like the case to be dismissed, because there's no evidence that a violation occurred at this property that night.
Anything from the city?
They need the reports from the judge. If you can pass it up. Is there another one?
It's the same.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Shanna Sanders, Code Compliance Officer. I wasn't at the property that day, neither was Code Officer Aaron. I just wanted to maybe see if I could piggyback and assist her. But yeah, the police report more so just states that contact was made regarding a loud party that was taking place. It doesn't necessarily state where the noise was coming from. I mean, it does give on the incident report that, location being 2076 Northeast 21st Road, and it does state again that they were called in reference to loud noise or a loud party that was going on. As previously stated by, the code officer, and we have in previous times gone by just the incident report. I can say, and I hate to say on record, I wish it was a little bit more detailed, because again, this is what we write our tickets and open our violations for. But, there is omission for previous incidents happening, due to them paying for the tickets that were written and that was issued in the past. And again, we can only go by the incident report, but it does show this physical address being 2076 Northeast 121st Road, and it does state that a loud party was taking place.
Your Honor, to be frank, it costs my client more money to have me here than to pay the ticket. But they felt very strongly that I was there. Officer came to my door. I pointed them to where the party was, and this is not my noise. That's why they hired me to set the record straight on this case. I'm not speaking about other cases. I was not hired in other cases, but I submit to you there's nothing in the record that adjudicates a case on this day against this property. And again, we request dismissal.
As you know that, we don't follow the same strict rules, of evidence and witnesses as we normally do in court. And I have taken into consideration hearsay evidence and what have you when making a decision. But I don't have anything here. I have nothing. The police report simply stated that they received a call, and then one officer went out and made contact with residents who was advised of the call. That doesn't say that I was there and I heard, as I approached the property, I heard loud noise coming out of the property. That's not what this
Judge,
police report says.
Judge, if I may, an officer is not going to issue that report on that property with that address. He wouldn't have issued an incident if it wasn't for that property per se. So if it was.
It's not an incident, it's just a narrative that would happen on that day.
Correct,
The
and that-
narrative says there was a call made. The narrative says this,
that narrative-
contact made with residents who was advised of the calls. So this is hearsay upon hearsay. What am I supposed to do with this? This is what you guys produced as your evidence.
I understand, but that narrative is a part of the incident report from that property. So the officer wouldn't have written that property address if that narrative didn't come from that incident. Do you see what?
I understand, but let me repeat it for you again, what this says.
I heard it.
That
I
the
understand.
officer went to the residence and tell the owner about a call that they received about loud noise.
Correct, in order to.
In
address
order
the
to,
In order to address the situation that there's noise coming from that property. If-
no, that's not what it says. Let's be clear. It says contact made with residents who was advised of the calls. And it still doesn't say what the calls were. Calls received regarding loud party. This officer could have easily said that there was a party,
but it
that
says
what I
calls-
witnessed, what I observed. Unfortunately, the officer is not here to give us more details about what's written here, but I have to go by what's here. But I think you're trying to argue there's more, I need to read more into this than there is.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't want you to interpret something that's not in there, but it says calls regarding loud party. I mean, it's a meaning simply of interpretation, but I interpret that to mean that the officer went to the property. Just from reading many incident reports, he advised the residents regarding the complaints of the loud party, AKA the loud party that's occurring on this property. And if it wasn't a situation where there was a loud party on this property, the officer would have not written the incident report for that
That's not
property
necessarily
address.
correct. If the
Why would they
officers
have-
receive phone calls that there's a loud party, the officers they're gonna go there and they're going to investigate.
Correct.
But
they're
the
not
officer's
going
not gonna come and knock on my door and say, I got calls about a loud party going on here. The officer would write that.
That's what
you
they
know.
wrote on this narrative. That's exactly what it
I've read
states.
I've read a lot of police reports on 20 years. Former prosecutor, I've read a lot of police incident reports. And for you to tell me that I'm supposed to draw from this incident that this officer observed, that there was loud parties and loud music and parties going on
That's-
based on this small narrative, I'm not able to make that leap.
That's not what I'm saying, Your Honor. I don't want you to state that he observed it, but what I'm saying is, and it's my interpretation, of course, Your Honor's entitled to yours, and I know how you're going to rule, but how I interpret that on behalf of the city is that that officer wouldn't have made that incident report advising that resident or whoever was occupying that property that there was a noise complaint regarding a party, and he wouldn't have written it if it wasn't for that particular property. If he was just investigating, he wouldn't have written the incident. If it wasn't that house per se, he wouldn't have written that property incident report. But because he went there and he's asking regarding, he went ahead and documented it, and that's the paperwork that Your Honor has.
Okay, that's a lot of assumptions and assuming this and assuming that. and I'm not ready to make the leap. And I know you guys want me to take notice on the fact that there was a previous incident. I had something from May, trying to look for it.
I'm sorry, if I could, just on the narrative, the first line on the narrative, the officer does note a loud party coming from short-term rental property. Is,
Your Honor, you know, when I've had cases in other jurisdictions for noise, if there's an alleged party, there would be a photo of the party. There's a description of the noise, how far away they were from the home, a clear determination that the noise came from that property. What we do know, based on, unfortunately, he's not here, my client was there. Nobody else in the room was there. My client was there, and there was a very large party going on 2 doors down. There's no question a party was happening in the neighborhood. There's no evidence to show it was from my client.
And there's no evidence, Judge, that there was a party two homes away. I mean,
But the burden of proof is on the city, not on us.
That's correct, but that's testimony that's coming from you, and your client's not here either to say that.
He hired me to be here because he's in Wisconsin. Again, the burden's on the city, and I think it's pretty clear there's not enough evidence to uphold this adjudication.
And this is
Give
an
me 1
incident
second, let me
report
respond
written
to
by a
that.
sworn officer, so this should be taken into effect where it is a sworn position, a sworn officer's statement. So it would not be hearsay at this point.
Yes, it is. If the officer is not present to testify, here in the city, we take hearsay evidence, anything that's relevant. But anything that the person is not here to be cross-examined and that we're putting on the record is hearsay evidence. Whether it's sworn by the officer or not is still hearsay because he's not here present. We're not able to assess, his testimony. We can only go by the paperwork. I'm going back to, keep reading the wrong one. Did I give you guys, let me have, okay, these two go together, I think. Yours is in one page. This is on the 5th. This is on the 5th incident report. Incident report on dated 8/5/2019. 8/3, 1:11 p.m. Laura Souffrant. Narrative, loud. Party coming from short-term rental property. 123, Kimberly, narrative, Sergeant Baez, advised of call holding. Okay, a call came through at 1:11. Who's Laura? Who's Laura Souffrant? So this is the operator who received the call that there's a loud party coming from short-term rental property. 123, Sergeant is advised of call holding. 204, dispatch received by Unit 214. 204, dispatch received by Unit 352. 235, dispatch received by Unit 214. And then it's not until 3 o'clock, it says contact made with residents who was advised of the calls received regarding loud party.
I don't dispute anything there, Your Honor. My client spoke to the officer. He was advised, and he pointed them to the correct house. Maybe another case was issued for that other home. I don't know. They're not my client. But again, there's nothing in that record taking it as facts.
Based on the evidence presented, I find, I will dismiss the violation, the ticket.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Here. Ma'am. Pass this over.
The next case is Anicia Santil, case number CESCN 2019-00001. The officer is Shanna Sanders.
Anicia, property address 1515 Northeast 125th Terrace. 1515 Northeast 125th Terrace.
We have
Shan-
2 cases for that property.
Okay, there's no one here.
Shanna Sanders, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer. This is a new case for property address 1515 Northeast 125th Terrace, unit number 104, for missing screens on the windows and doors. I made contact with the owner's boyfriend, who identified himself as the occupant of the property. He called me actually about another incident that was taking place at the condo unit, and while there, I brought up other issues that was going on at his property. At that time, he said that he would take care of the violation within a week or two. As of last week, September 19th, when I did the inspection, the violation still remains. I am showing that proper service was given. A notice to appear was posted at the property on September 6th, 2019, at 3:00 p.m. I have photos of the violation if you would like to see.
Yes, please.
Not so much of a good picture, but as you can see,
This is the front door.
this is the door of the property. This is the side and rear door of the property. That's the second violation, but it's more so for it not having any screens on the windows for this violation.
Okay, let's see. Screen are missing on the windows and doors. So, this place is in compliance with. Okay, so it's not the fact that their front door is boarded up.
That's the second violation for
Okay.
the door being boarded up.
Okay,
This
I was
violation
looking
is
at the wrong one.
Yeah,
Okay.
this violation is for the missing screens per city code. Minimum housing properties, being apartments and condos, must have screens on all doors.
Got it. All right, based on the unrebutted testimony, this is first time up, right?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. Also find good notice, given proper notice, the owner has failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Property owner has until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $150.
Next case is Anicia Santil, case number CEWWC 2019-00076. The officer is Shanna Sanders.
Shanna Sanders, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer, again for property address 1515 Northeast 125th Terrace, unit number 104. This violation was originally opened July 18th of this year, 2019, for windows indoors that needed to be replaced. Again, as my previous comments in the violation before was called out by the owner's boyfriend about another incident that was taking place at the property. While there, went ahead and did a full inspection of the unit, brought to his attention that the doors needed to be replaced or repaired. He explained to me that him and his girlfriend got into an altercation a couple of weeks prior, and that he would replace the doors. As of last week, Wednesday, violation still remains. I am showing proper service was given. I posted the property on September 6, 2019 at 3 p.m. I have, as you've seen in the previous photos, but I'll show again the door that needs to be repaired or replaced. During the altercation, he said that the window got, pushed out. Again, as you can see from the door, it's been some months now with weather and rain. Of course, the wood has deteriorated, but either way, the door needs to be repaired or replaced. This board needs to be removed.
All right. Again, based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence provided I find that the violation does exist. Also find good notice. Given proper notice, the owner has failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Property owner shall have until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $150.
Next case is Arifa Mansuri. Case number is CEEXC 2019-00019. The officer is Karen Jean Lewis.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Please state your full name in relationship to the property.
Good afternoon. My name is Arifa Mansuri, and property address is 668 Northeast 128th Street.
Thank you. She has two cases, right?
Good afternoon, Co-Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. The first case is CEEXC for the paint. The property was cited to be pressure clean and painted. I did speak with the property owner. She mentioned by the time she received the notices, she was out of the country and she just needed some more time. But since then, that was the last time we had contact.
Since when?
When did we talk? I don't remember the exact date.
First one, I want to know, you said like I have two cases? What is another one?
The other one is for the windows on the second floor that are boarded up.
Oh, so it's like I said, nothing different.
No,
Because first
yeah,
time
yeah.
we talked, okay.
Mhm.
Yes, I did speak with her. She gave me the time. Everything is fine. By the time I ready to do it, is hurricane we hearing. So that's why I didn't do anything. And after that, like I don't have any time from her, but she did give me the favor. She gave me the time. But before I got this one, his property is done.
Before you got what?
Before I got the notice,
Mm-hmm.
maybe notice there, but I didn't receive it. But notice is there. But his property is done now.
It's fixed,
It's fixed. Yes.
as in,
You want to see the picture? I can show you.
yes. So we're talking about the painting, or we're talking about,
Painting, taking out the broom.
The plywood?
Yes, yes. Everything
Okay,
is done.
okay.
Everything is done. I'm not good about the picture, but I have a couple of them. Those downstairs. You see for the plywood at the second floor?
just let me know if she's in compliance.
She's in compliance. You can go ahead and dismiss both cases.
Okay, are we gonna do assessment or no?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck to
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you.
The next case is Beatrice Dorr. Case number CEFAW 2019-00165. The Code Compliance Officer is Edme St. Louis.
Please state your full name for the record and relationship to the property.
Déclarer non entier pour enregistrement et puis relation avec propriétaire.
Mrs. Go on English. Yeah. C'est Beatrice Dorr.
I'm Beatrice Dorr,
Northeast 05 Northeast 11th Avenue,
Northeast 05 11th Avenue,
Miami, Florida 33161.
Miami, Florida 33161.
Not 13205?
C'est pas 13205?
Something 05.
Yes, 13205.
Okay.
That's it.
Hi, Beatrice.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Another Beatrice in the house. No. Good done. You have to wait. The city's gonna present its case, and then I'll give you an opportunity to respond.
Attends, si tu as présenté Kali,
Go ahead.
ça m'a bon.
Good afternoon, Court Officer St. Louis. This violation is in regards to damaged fence. Initial picture was taken on July 25th, and as of the final recheck, the gate remained as is. AOS was posted on September 5th, 2019 at 2:19 p.m. And as of the final recheck pictures, which was on September 19th, the violation
Oh.
still remain.
What happened here? Looks like, Miss Beatrice, what happened to your gate?
Un accident ki fet,
An accident occurred.
e barrière tombe, mbat ko fel ndap tan assurance.
The fence fell down. I had not yet done it because I was waiting for the insurance.
Okay, where are we in the process?
Mwen preske rive lan posya paske assurance di machine nan se pou mwen, get la se pou mwen yo pa pran chek. Kounya mwen map fel le, bom dele pou m fel.
I'm almost done with the process because the insurance is mine and the fence is mine. They are not going to cover it, so I'm in the process of finding the means to do it.
Oh.
When did the accident occur?
Hmm?
When did the accident occur?
When did the accident happen?
Quel accident fait?
Because the citation is from July, right?
25th.
The accident occurred some time ago. Could have been July, June.
Okay.
Machine nan te krasé, pitik mwen te lan koma,
The
mbat ka get a fel.
car was damaged. My son was in a coma, so I did not have the time to do it.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I hope all is well with your son.
Oui, fasa TV.
Yes, everything turned out
Mbat
okay.
ka get a fel.
It's
Kounya
just
map
that
fel.
I was not able to do it, so now I'm going to do it.
All right.
Bom dele pou
Let me
fel.
see.
We just need some time to do it.
December. You okay with that, Abby? All right. Okay, ma'am. I'll give you until December.
My boy just got this
Ok, thank you.
Okay.
Merci.
All right.
Ok.
So I will
Mwen
enter
fel pou mwen retourne
an
pou
adjudication.
Once I have it done, do I have to come back here?
No, why don't you contact the code enforcement officer?
No,
Because she has to come by and she has to
travail ou bien?
investigate.
parce que le gars pour tourner pour l'investiguer.
Oh, ok.
Okay? So take Miss Edme's phone number,
Mon numéro de téléphone à Medmine.
and once it's done, she'll come by, she'll investigate, and if it's done up to code, then she'll remove it from the calendar. Okay.
Ok,
All right.
thank you.
Best of luck to you, sir.
No, ma fel, yeah. Thank
I'm going to do it. Thank you.
Sure. It's an adjudication. I'll revisit it when she comes back, if she comes back.
The next case is Dorothy Martin, case number CEFAW 2019-00168. The officer is Karen Jean Lewis.
It's, okay. Please state your full name in relationship to the property.
My name is Akila Martin Passe, and I'm a property owner.
And who's Dorothy Martin?
She's my mom, so I own the property with her.
Okay,
We're co-owners.
okay, on the deed?
Yes,
Okay.
and the property is 990 Northeast 139th Street, North Miami, Florida 33161.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Co-Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. This property was cited to fix the wooden fence that appears to be damaged. There's plywood where the gate used to be. The property was cited on August 14, 2019. No, correction, on July 30th, 2019. And the notice to appear was posted on September 5th, 2019 at 11 a.m. And as of the final reinspection, the gate remains the same, and there's no permit on file to repair the gate.
Okay. Let me see the photos. Oh, no. What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on? So, same thing like the other case. Unfortunately, I have pictures. We live on a corner house, and unfortunately, in that corner, there is a car accident. Literally, I have pictures. Every single month or every 2 weeks, there is a car accident. This is our fourth time of having a car come through our gate. And we have small children, so we're very lucky that we have that gate because I've come home and I have the pictures. So in this particular incident, I have the picture of the car through our gate. The very next weekend, I have another picture of the other car accident
Wow.
at our property. The weekend, well, not the weekend, in June, the month before, there was a car that went through our gate as well. So this is an ongoing issue. I actually have a case with Miami-Dade County Public Works because I was told that they were the ones. There's an SR number that they gave me to where they're doing an assessment because they pulled up all the car
History.
accidents. Yes, that happens on that corner. Our neighbors have actually lost property, like their cars, their fences. My neighbor across the street almost had his mom killed when there was a car accident, and as she walked out of her door, the car came flying and almost pinned her to her car. This is a huge issue, and we've like contacted the city, and they told us, oh, like there's nothing we can do. They did put, because there's no, like it's only stop signs, and it's supposed to be a stop
Stoplight.
Yeah, but there's no light, there's no roundabout. The only thing that they put was like, you know, the little thing that tells you, oh, you're going 30 miles an hour. Like, you know, like it's a sign and it just tells you how fast you're going. I think people want to see how fast they're going because they fly down, you know, down the street and nothing happens. And this has been an ongoing issue since we've acquired the property. So I do understand that the gate has that situation, but like I said, that particular side of that gate has been damaged 4 times. And we've, you know, every time we have to fight with the insurance to get the gate fixed. So right now, where we are in the process of this one is we're trying to fight with Miami-Dade County to do something, to put something there to protect our children and our neighborhood and our families. And we're also fighting with the insurance company because in this particular case, this was a Lyft driver who works for Lyft. So we're going through these different insurance companies, and now they sent us to Lyft to try to get the insurance to
Fix the gate.
yeah, to fix it. And Your Honor, if there's anything that you can do to help us in this neighborhood, this is a huge problem. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, my husband pulled a lady out of her car from the car accident. And this is a huge problem.
It's been going many years. And our neighbors lost 2 cars. We believe there's another neighbor across the street that has sued the city.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Because the car ended up in her house. I'm not saying 10th Avenue is a bad street, but for some reason, I don't know if we have bad luck on our block, but this block here is nothing to mess with.
Like they're racing.
They're running the stop sign, and the people who come down 10th Ave is not doing 30 miles per hour. They're doing a good 50, 60. So by the time that guy who runs the stop sign, you know, sees it or read it already,
They end up in your
already
gate.
too late.
And they're-
it's ending up in any. At what point, depending what direction the vehicle's going, it can end up in their property. The only difference is our property has a gate. Our neighbors probably don't have a gate. So it ends up in their yard. They just pull it out of the yard and call it a day. Us, it ends up in our gate. So we have to pull the gate out. And the reason you see the plywood, unfortunately, we have 2 dogs. And we don't want to tie the dogs up. We want to leave them roaming in the...
Because that's illegal.
Yeah, in Dade County. So that's why you saw us put the plywood. But multiple times that we have fixed the gate, sometimes it's been out of our pocket. Which, you know, we bought the plywood. I know it looks bad, but we bought the plywood to put up so the dogs can, you know, be free in the yard.
Yeah.
They don't get out.
But it's if
Would you like to see the pictures?
If you can pull it
Would
up,
you like
it's-
to see the pictures?
You can. I can see them from a distance, but you can pass it. But
it's been,
I mean, we're going to be dragging these families here every week, every day. If this is a problem area, what
I would like if you could pull the address up.
they can keep putting up
Public
gates
Works
and
did.
gates, and then we're still gonna have to bring him back.
Well, prior to us meeting here today, no one made contact with me. This is the first that I'm hearing about their situation with the gate and how many times vehicles have crashed into their property.
We have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, because prior to the day when I took the picture, the gate was just fine. So when I saw it and I took the picture, I was hoping someone would contact me in reference to what was going on, but there was no contact.
Yeah, the gate was just fine because there wasn't a car accident. And like, we have contacted the city several times, and we actually have like, all our neighbors are like, listen, if we need to do a petition, like whatever we need to do, because we are actually, like, the property I care about, but I'm scared for my kids.
Absolutely.
Like the way that this is going on, I don't even let my kids outside, and now I don't even let my kids in our yard because there's cars flying into our yard.
If you pull the address up and the calls, you'll see. At our house, we know the officers by name now. That's how much we see.
That's how sad it is.
That's
And
how often we see them.
when they
And
pull
if
it, there's
you
a
pull
list
our
of all the
address,
accidents.
And you can see all the calls. And because we're, for some reason, we're always out there, so we give our address because that's the address they come to, or they come to the section of 10th Ave and 139. But it is an ongoing, like I said, if it wasn't us, it's another neighbor. But it's always, if you pull up police reports
On our corner.
on that corner, you'll see it's heavy. It's very, very heavy. And like I said, I'm not saying the other streets are not heavy also, but I'm just saying that particular corner, it's very heavy. And we,
And
I
I
can show you videos right now of like I said, the last accident was there, and that's when we're home, which is Saturday, Sunday, we're mostly home, but during the day we work. There's nobody at home during the day. So if something happened during the day,
And that
we
has
wouldn't know.
happened. I've been at work, and I've gotten a call from my neighbor telling me, oh, you need to come home, there's a car through your gate.
And they're scared. I have a very big dog, so everybody's scared the dog's gonna come out and hopefully not bite anybody, but the
So
car's
I
in the
do
yard.
have an SR number from Public Works, where I guess they said they're gonna like try to do an assessment or whatever, and they pulled some report, but we just haven't seen any results. We haven't seen anything. And like I said, it's not just us. We're on that corner. There's 4 houses, and we're all affected, and we all go through this on like continue. It seems like every other week. So I don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, the neighborhood could petition the city to put something, I've seen in certain neighborhoods, like they put like a roundabout,
Well,
just
here's
to
the
slow
thing.
down traffic.
That would be, it's out of my realm.
I mean, I know, I'm just saying, because obviously,
they've called and they just stated they've called and have gotten no results.
she called Miami-Dade, she
Did you call
doesn't say
here?
who she's working with. And here, have you called anyone from the city? Have you called any of the city officials? Have you,
No. So what happened was when the officer came, when the officers come out, we have the same conversation with the officers, and they tell us, oh, this is Miami-Dade County.
The
So
street doesn't belong.
yeah, so they told us that it's Miami-Dade County, so that's why I contacted Public Works through Miami-Dade County.
I would still have her speak to some of the officials here, and, you probably need to have your neighbors involved.
Oh,
They're-
they have no issue.
They're willing
Okay,
and they're.
then you guys need to speak to the city officials and see what can be done. Otherwise, you guys are gonna be dragged down here every time there's an accident in your gate and the car goes through your gate. It sounds to me like this is a very dangerous intersection. So you need to make the city aware, if they're not already aware of it, and see what steps needs to be taken. I'm not going to do an adjudication in this case.
Your Honor, what's funny is on 7th Avenue, from that 139 7th Avenue, there's a roundabout. And there's another roundabout, and I believe 11, which is the same 139.
It
But
seems
those
like
street-
they need to put one on
Yeah,
10.
and that streets have less traffic than 10th Avenue. Because 10th Avenue, everybody is no stop sign, so they're wide open throttle from the point A to they get to and it's just
Yeah.
funny, the street that don't have as much traffic has a roundabout, which is the street that really kind of needs the roundabout, don't have it.
I'm gonna table this case.
She's gonna, Miss Karen Jean Lewis is gonna let them know kind of like.
Speak it to the mic.
Oh. Ms. Karen Jean Lewis is gonna let them know who to speak to try to expedite it because it is the county who's gonna be in charge of that, but
It is the
they
county.
can do something to.
Together,
Hopefully
probably.
to expedite it, as long as, you know, we know that it's happening, so.
Right. Okay. So speak to the
Yeah,
officer.
speak to her.
I'm going to table this and, you know, and then I guess we'll revisit it later on.
Judge, in the meantime, it can't look like this, though.
Well,
Can
we're
they,
waiting.
As
You
in,
know?
can they,
We don't have the money to fix the fence. That's why we're fighting with Lyft right now to get the money. As soon as we can get that money.
maybe
we can get
less wood, less board? You understand? Make it
Oh,
look a
because
little
it's so
neater
yeah,
and
just so it's
uniform.
even
Okay.
in the
You understand?
meantime
Just
until we figure
for,
out-
just the visual part of it, it just looks a little messy.
Okay.
Okay?
We did it for the dogs, so we didn't
I
want the dogs
understand.
to jump out and
Yeah.
hurt, bite somebody or anything to that nature.
Okay.
Okay, not a problem.
All right, guys, good luck to you.
Okay.
Stay on it.
Yes.
We will, we have to, it's our families.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Magistrate, what date are you tabling it to?
Well, they have to come to you guys. You want to bring it back in December and see
Yeah.
where we
Sounds
are?
good.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
You have a case?
Excuse me, Your Honor. I just had a call to cover an interpreter, and I see there's no one for Spanish. Is there a way that I can be dismissed?
Absolutely. No one for Spanish interpreter? No?
Nadie que necesite el intérprete en español.
I already
Okay.
asked.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, okay.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you. All right.
Next case is Impresades?
Empresas.
Impresas?
Sorry, Impresas Aldi, case number CEWWC 2019-0083. The code
Property
officers-
address.
The property address is 1437 Northeast 131st Street. The officer is Shanna Sanders.
Okay.
Shanna Sanders, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer. This is a new case for property address 1437 Northeast 131st Street for boards that are on the window. This violation was first initially opened on July 26, 2019, whereas I sent a notice of violation. I sent the second notice on August 8th. As of last week, 19th of September, the violation still remains. I have not had any contact with anyone at the property in reference to this violation. I am showing that proper service was given. I posted the property on September 7th, 2019 at 9:20 a.m., as well as administrative staff mailed a notice to appear to the property owner. I have photos of the violation if you would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
As you see depicted in the pictures here, the front window, next to the AC unit, there's a board that's in the front window that's been there for some time. Again, as of last week, on actually September 20th, so Thursday, violation still remains.
Okay. Did you say you made contact? Have not made
I
contact?
have not about this violation. I've spoken to, because this is a duplex, I've spoken to the tenant that stays at 1439 about different incidents, but not about this one. When we went to speak about this one, you know, she referred me to 1437 and said, you know, more so, you know, speak to them about it. But I haven't spoke to the property owner. I've mailed notices, but, you know, no one from, you know, this property has given me a call.
All right. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find the violation does exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice to owners that failed to appear, hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication Property owner has until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $300.
Next case is Evate Eustache, case number CEGMP 2019-00111. The property address is 1200 Northeast 128th Street. The officer is Edme St. Louis.